be able to check the video about the first slide. 5, 4, 3, 2. All right, shalom, shalom. I believe we're live. We'll double check, make sure the video and the sound is okay, and then we're going to jump right to it. Yeah, we're up. Okay, Diamond, and everything sounded what?
Hey, shalom, shalom.
Shalom.
We are the brothers of the Great Millstone. Right, from Grand Rapids, brother.
Harbor Faith. Been on mission.
Been on Michigan. Come. With our honored guest, been on Michigan. Been Harbor. And we first and foremost, we want to give all praises, glory, and honor
To Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Ruach.
Once again, we're the brothers of the Great Millstone, and we also want to give double honors to our apostles, to our elder bishops, give salutations to all our fellow laborers, that are around the four corners of the earth, doing this work, risking their lives and their freedom to do so. To the scattered among the heathen nations, all right, that look like the heathens, to those few who are that listen to learning. So shalom. And we're just going to go in on a couple different subject matters. One being that the law still stands. We had a court jester that came out of camp. He got cut pretty badly, but he didn't show it until after the fact. After the cameras went off, then the civility came out. But we're gonna touch on that, and then also maybe go into a little history. And one of the reasons why somebody got a whole people root for, like 1 through 5, and the reason why people think like he thinks, he doesn't even realize he's regurgitating the man-made doctrine that came about during the Renaissance. So Christianism, as I like to call it, like vocab says Hebrewism, Christianism is just a made-up doctrine of man. It's not scriptural. It doesn't line up with the Bible at all. The Bible is a book of law, statutes, and commandments about and the heritage of the Lord's people, right? About what happened to them, their rise, their fall, and their rise again. That's what the Bible is about, and their kings returning. First and foremost, King Yahushua, and then under him, King David. Right. So it's all about. So this book, the Bible, is ethnically based. It's about a race of people that are mixed and mingled among the other people in the world, man. All right, that's basically what it is, and people don't want to admit to that. And there's certain laws, statutes, and commandments that govern our people, and the fact that we didn't keep them is why we're in the condition that we're in today.
Right. Can anybody who's on the Wi-Fi please get off Wi-Fi? If you're on our Wi-Fi, so we can have it easier.
All right, so if you would get that group off the shelf.
The root 4 and 1. So this is the book of the commandments of the Most High, and the law that endures forever.
The law endures forever. It never goes away. So if you read that it's been fulfilled, that means he said, I'm here to fulfill the law. It didn't say fulfilled with the ED on the end of it. He said he's here to fulfill, to keep the law. It's amazing to me. Why I'm bringing up the Middle Ages. It's amazing to me how that goes right over people's heads, and how they believe in the so-called white man's lie. Read, brother.
It says, this is the book of the commandments of the Most High, and the law that endures forever. All they that keep it shall come to life, and such that leave it shall die.
And that's what happened. We've all died. Horrific deaths over and over again ever since that's part of our punishment. All right? Go ahead, brother.
This is the book of Ecclesiasticus, or Sirach, chapter 10, verse 8. It says, because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another. Now, in Daniel, it talks about how that to the intent that the living may know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men. And he,
4:17, somebody back it up.
It says, the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men, and he giveth it to whomsoever he will. So here it is, the kingdom is talking about this earth. When you're ruling over the earth, now you have the kingdom, you have rulership. And so all nations of people have ruled at one point in time. And it says right here in Ecclesiasticus chapter 10 and 8, because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, riches got by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another. It's translated from one nation of people to another nation of people, because the one who was ruling at the time, they ruled with unrighteousness. So they ruled with ingredients for a downfall. All right, so it's just like time after time after time again. It's like, okay, well, you try your way. Oh, did you fail ultimately? Okay, it didn't work out. All right, next up. All right, next nation. You try your way.
Let's put women in charge.
Yes, yeah. Whatever way you think that you have outside of the righteousness of the Most High God, because he got something he called righteousness. See, but you have these heathen nations who, when they get on top and ruling over all other nations, they're going to rule with what they think is righteousness. So, but the Bible actually calls their way unrighteous, because there's only one set of rules and regulations that ultimately equals unto righteousness.
But to be real honest with you, brother, that's correct.
Okay, that's all.
I've never heard a nation ever even promote that whatever they think is right. Now, one time I heard the Chinese say, "We are the righteous people, and this is the righteous book." Not one time.
Right.
Nobody promotes righteousness except Yahweh Shai and the righteous men of the Lord. And they come, whoever come out of the scripts, that's what the righteousness. I've never seen any matter of fact.
Scripture for you.
God.
Going off both what you both said. Isaiah 8:20. It says, to the law and to the testimonies, if they speak not according to this word, it's because there is no life in them.
So there it is. All these nations, they rule with darkness. All right, dark ways.
Come back up.
Yep.
This was the Solomon 8, and I'm gonna get to the point, verse 7. It's going to she or her is wisdom. And if a man love righteousness, her labors are virtues. So to have actual, because they don't call it righteousness, they call it morality. They say they humanitarian. All right, but to be truly moral, to have true virtues, to have this wisdom, to have these laws. That's what I'm in the 4th chapter. It says the heathen should look and say, what nation is this that have laws as righteous as the Lord has given them? All right, and also during the 4th calls that law and wisdom. So this goes right with that. This is what virtue is. This is what you know right from wrong. This is what you know more. This is how you know morality. What the Lord says. And guess what? A man, a 89-year-old man fucking a 13-year-old that's been on, that already had a cycle in the past, that's okay and righteous in the eyes of the Lord.
That's right.
2 sodomites, that's wickedness.
That's right.
Point blank, period, man.
Yeah.
Promote that though.
All right?
Oh,
The
yeah.
man had multiple wives, that's okay with in the eyes of the Lord, man. All right, but you got a society where these bitches hopping dick to dick, man. But then that's okay.
Yep.
That's feminism. They're free from the patriarchy. You motherfuckers gonna die, man.
Brother, I just heard a video with a white girl broke it down.
She had the cardboard on.
No.
Oh, that's another one.
Yeah, basically, this woman said that women are not held accountable for anything that they do. She said she broke it down. She said, look, a woman can and she has what do you call it, birth control stuff. So
Right.
so that pushes promiscuity.
Thank you, brother.
That word, I always get stuck with that word. But that pushes that them being promiscuous.
She a promiscuous pedestrian.
And then-
Lots of mess.
And then,
Sorry, I knew you was
And then he said, and then if they do happen to get pregnant from all this promiscuous activity, they can just go murder their babies, right? And then, or even more so, what they can do is that if they're unhappy in their marriage, they can go and get with a whole other man while she already has children, and then the man
Pay
that she's
child
with
support.
actually has to pay
Alimony.
child support and alimony to her when she's the one who initiated the separation. All right, and it's just, and so they're women are rewarded, and then if the woman can't afford to take care of her children, then they have state shelters and women funds and all these different things to support them.
Link card,
But a
section.
man that can't take care of his children because he can't afford it,
They lock his
he
ass
gets
up.
he gets thrown in jail and labeled a deadbeat and all kind of, and then and lose employment and credibility and his licenses and everything else.
See,
So they can't take care of their children.
Exactly.
so here it is. These sets of rules and regulations of this world, if it comes from the mind of a man, then it's gonna be ways that's gonna end in death, man.
Hey, so like,
And people are cool with that.
hey, real quick, when you go into the law, it say that the woman shall leave with no money,
Yeah.
and the man take the children. The children stay with the man. That's his lineage. A man gotta give his daughter over. A man gotta show his son the law, statutes, and commandments. A man, hey, the scripture say 3 times a year shall all your males appear before me. How the fuck a bitch gonna show a man that?
Because this is what Esau does. Esau knew in order to attack the Israelites, you must attack the Israelite man. So their whole thing is to elevate, exactly, and they elevated. They started on the plantation. People know elevation of women back in the 1500s, 1600s. There was no white women being free to do the shit that they doing today. They did those rules. Willie Lynch letters. They specifically said put the woman over the man.
That is-
You know what? Can I say this real quick, and then we gotta finish with Big Arthur's reading too. Can't forget we started with the movie. But you have to understand, man. The so-called white man has been abandoning his children all along, and well before Jacob, right? And because and it just goes why? Because what did they label them? They labeled them the bastard.
Yes.
Every show you watch, you always had all these bastards running around.
Yep, sure did.
There, when they took over after the medieval time, you always had these women. Women stay loyal to their men is because you were unwanted if you had children and no husband. Right. All right. Something it was looked at. If your husband didn't die, like in
Right.
a war or something like that, you would like, what the hell? Why do you got sons and daughters but you have no husband? Something. They're right. And then you're right. And then they just became whores. They actually that became their profession because they had no other way of supporting and taking care of themselves. Right? If you had no family to fall back on, you were just screwed. So, but then women, then you had this group of women that came along and called that oppression. Right? Well, families stayed together during those times.
Yeah. Go ahead.
This is Micah. Okay, like you said, because of these rules and laws and whatnot that this Edomite put in place. This is Micah 2:1. Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hand. Like you said, our law, statutes, and commandments was written that the women walked away with nothing. They went with the man's kids and everything else. Now and whatnot, the kids are left behind. And he's got to pay alimony, child support, and all the other things.
Yeah.
And this type of thing. And like the elder here, he done went through the whole scenario and got them beat at their own game. And they can't even tap and say, okay, you got me. They're like, no, we just gonna keep swinging you around in the fucking courts and whatnot. Okay, number 2, and they convert fields and take them by violence and houses, and they take them away so that they oppress a man in his house, even a man in his heritage. This backs up what Benji was saying. They took the heritage that we had and whatnot and put this bullshit on us and tell us that we got to be governed and ruled by this bullshit.
And it all goes back to all the shit that they're doing right now. All right, from the standpoint on the Bible, the standpoint on race, it's all built behind what the world English calls white superiority. It's really Edomites. And so what they did is they mixed the pseudoscience of race based upon color with the Bible. And all that was done, during and after it all started with the iconoclasm. And then all these philosophies of color and shit that these so-called white men, self-proclaimed white men made up. All right, and then he put those things into play over the centuries, coming from from the Renaissance up until now. And so they intermingle all those things together. They even racialized. They made Ham, Shem, and Japheth a Negroid, a Caucasoid, and a Mongol. And that was a complete lie. Ham, Shem, and Japheth were all men of color. You know, a Negroid type, if you will, for lack of a better word. Right? They were all they you know, because they all were Noah's sons. They all were so-called what the world would refer to today everybody as black men.
Now, the funny thing is, we add up all the people on the planet, 8 billion. Esau is going. We add American, which is less than 200, less than 150 billion.
Yes, it's around. It's about in America. I think it's about 230 million people.
It's 300. It's
About
300. But even
Right.
then, it's not all Edomites. If you go to America, you go to Europe, and so forth, all the Edomites,
330
they're going to pale in comparison to all the rest of the races. So you tell me at the beginning of the time, you talking about Shem?
It's coming to us.
You talking about Noah and his 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, and they were all so-called whitish people. How the fuck did so-called dark people come then?
Exactly.
How the fuck is the majority of the people on the planet is melanated? But over 75% of the people on the planet, matter of fact, 80%
Yeah,
of the people
Europe
is
is
melanated.
very small. As a matter of fact, the maps, even the maps that they use is racist because Europe is very small. Africa is a lot larger than what they show it. Right. So Africa is huge, man. Africa should be, not that we will promote Africanism, but the point is that, or that Kemet shit, but Africa, the continent of Africa is ginormous and they actually shrink it. They shrink it. You know, South America, many other countries can fit right into Africa.
Yeah.
That's how big it is.
I can't
All
read
right.
this
The
quote.
only place that's bigger is Asia. All right.
I can read the Ben Franklin quote.
Go ahead, bro.
The number of purely white people in the world is proportionally very small.
Name the source, Bob.
This is a quote from Benjamin Franklin in 1751. The writing word was observations concerning the increase of mankind, peopling of countries, etc. Somebody get over down. The number of purely white people in the world is proportionally very small. All Africa is black or tawny. Asia, chiefly tawny. America, exclusive of the newcomers, all right, so New England, the 13 colonies. Outside of 13 colonies, what do you say? Wholly so. So the Native Americans, tawny, swarthy, black, all right? And in Europe, the Spaniards, Italians, French, Russians, and Swedes are generally of what we call a swarthy complexion.
There you go.
As are the Germans also.
Mm.
The Saxons only accepted with just after they got into power. These are not the original Saxons.
Right.
The Caparian, aka Pops, read the Michael II. They took over, they took a man his heritage, right? Only accepted who would the English make the principal body of white people on the face of the earth. I could wish their numbers were increased, and while we are, as I may call it, scoring our planet by clearing America of woods, and so making this side of our globe reflect a brighter light.
Clearing the woods, huh?
Wow.
Yep. A brighter light to the eyes of inhabitants in Mars or Venus. Why should we, in the sight of superior beings, darken its people? He wanted to keep shit separate. He called himself superior, even though they're the least of the nations. That's that damn pride being hyped to the heavens, man. You know, and that's what America was made to do. America was made to be the face of Edom. And that's just what it is. The whore that rode the beast back, man.
Yeah.
So that's how they push their whiteness, air quotes, to the world, man. They really did it. Yeah, the first 2 verses.
Exactly.
Obadiah, verse 1, it says, the vision of Obadiah, thus said the Lord power concerning the Edom. You have heard a rumor from the Lord, and an ambassador is sent among the heathen. Arise, ye, and let us rise up against her in battle. Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen, and thou art greatly despised.
Right, and that's prophecy right there, man. Small among the heathen and greatly despised. Look over there now, man. The whole world hates you. You know, that's plain. Edom, the so-called white man, is the hated amongst the nations. All right, he's Malachi, the first chapter, the 4th verse explains how he was going to get into power. He was going to rebuild That's the Renaissance age, and we built on. He wanted to push an image of whiteness on the world, man. That's that Satan made himself as an angel of light. He pushed his way into the world, his wine into the world, man. Took over, put his religious spirit on our book, just like in the Maccabees.
Just like in this image that's on the wall behind you. That's the way that image also should have always been. But they pushed that image on the world. Was kind of hard to see it because of the glare of light. But it's a dark angel, a Negroid angel, killing. It's supposed to be Michael killing Satan. All right, and that that's a famous Catholic image among the Catholic Church. But when you see it, the angel is always a so-called white person, and the devil that he's destroying is always somebody that's dark. And on this image is actually proper. Okay, but the original image of that is all a part of that Renaissance lie.
And by the way, one of our little brothers, Kadashi, painted this. You gotta get Jacob's photo credit.
That's right.
Because we ain't hating. Kadashi, beloved brother. And he an Issachar writer.
That's right.
He in the spirit, because they Issachar playing with this fucking man.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they got that image hanging in their car, around their neck,
The air fryer.
over the bedroom where the baby sleep.
Hey, Elder Malcolm, you know how they go in Jules? You got the fucking air fryer. This guy got 50 candles.
Yeah, you got a whole Catholic aisle, all those images, all those Cesare and Lucretia Borgia images, all them lies about the saints.
Saint Piss.
I got one more for you.
Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, when you look up the image, Saint Maurice. Saint Maurice, an original saint, is an old statue, and that nigga is black. And his name Maurice means black. Goes to the word more.
Yeah.
All right, this is just like the statue of the Tetrarchs, man. All right,
There's the four tetrarchs.
The four Tetrarchs, right?
Yeah, in Italy.
And
Yeah,
they black.
they're black. So they omit. I just did a lesson about that. All the how they omit the darkness of Europa.
Europa, the
From-
regular pitch black.
They omit the darkness from that part, from the whole so-called Mesopotamia, the fervent crest. Europa, even going into Asia. That's why even the Muslims refer to themselves as dark Asiatic man, that kind of man. Because people
Asiatic black.
The original man, my brother.
Because
They call themselves Moabites.
I got a friend of mine who named his daughter my age.
What?
And I told him, that, anyway.
I got a pretty
Go
simple.
ahead, brother. Break it
Here's
down.
Job 9:24. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? And that's the other Malcolm was going into. This painting on the wall is in the right form. Edom has pushed his image. But you got the Sistine Chapel. All right, you got when Esau got the power, all those statues got weird. You look at the Catholic statues, they got priests up there, and they got little boys under their skirts. That shit weird. Then you got one statue
you
where
have
bent over
Halloween
licking their own.
costumes with the guys wearing the priest outfit, and it's got a child
midget
under
type
his skirt
thing.
face.
Yeah, they got actual
Right.
statues of that shit.
And it's chiseled on the side of the building.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you can just walk down the street and look up. This
And that's supposed to be holy and that's supposed to be righteous and indicative of
It's an idol.
Because I took video arts, basically 3D animation college and shit. And art class got like a color chart. And it shows you a color chart that light colors come from dark. Dark don't come from light.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I got that.
And
Well, dark was first.
But this brother been holding scripture before we still out. Yeah, we gonna go back to that book. I forgot. But I mentioned something about the map. Uriah found a map that's actually kind of proper because Greenland is gigantic. It's bigger. They try to make all these places where Edomites came from huge or were living huge. And that's this one now on this map. It's actual proper size. You can see how large the continent of Africa is
Compared to America.
compared to America and South America.
Right.
All right, it's huge. So it's a very, very large continent. But when you look on modern day maps, it's shrank down, and then the places where where Europe is ginormous, Greenland is ginormous. All these places where Esau was dwelling is huge.
Now, if you ever travel, you would know there's a difference. Because when I remember I was in London, which would be
And
somewhere.
look how many countries are in Africa, by the way.
Yes.
You know,
It's like
57.
you know, that's a lot of different countries. So you just can't say you're African. You gotta say what country you're from.
And no person in the continent of so-called Africa calls themselves African.
Yeah, I got a
They say
video
they're
of that.
Sudanese, they'll say they're Ethiopian,
Yeah,
they'll say they're
Gambian.
Ghanaian. They
Gambian.
never say African because that's African goes back to Scipio Africanus, which was a white so-called Roman military man, and conquered that region for the name of Rome. If you look-
Even more so, brother, if I may, using that term African is a very generic term, and what it does is it just groups a bunch of dark people together that don't really belong together, which is to push the confusion of which is white superiority, because they don't want to acknowledge that race is actually through seed line, through sperm, and not through the color of your skin.
Here he goes. Publius Cornelius Scipio Africanus was a Roman general and statesman, most notable as a
Conquered
main.
Africa, and it's named after him.
That's
So when
it.
you refer to yourself as African, you call yourself after the name of the so-called white man.
Because he fought against Carthage in the Second Punic War,
Uh-huh.
and they said, if you did that, and isn't Carthage where Hannibal
That's where
is
Hannibal
from?
came from.
Yeah, and so you got Hannibal Barca. And so they said, that's one of the guys we got that we beat. You didn't beat him. Fucking Hannibal took some elephants and soldiers to the fucking Himalayan mountains and got fucking killed by the Lord. Because the Lord, it wasn't time
It
for us
wasn't
to rise
time
up.
for us to rise up yet.
You know what I'm
We
saying?
got some scripture, but you can go.
Carl, that's what I'm going to. That's everything y'all saying because hey, these people are never liars. It's made him through the world. Go to the bloody city and it's full of lies and robbery and fighting upon the lie. All of these is nothing but lies that they promote. Like y'all was just showing on the back. They trying to make it seem like they was the
Dominant.
class, the dominant and all that. But they're not. They really ain't nothing. They did. The Lord really set y'all up. And y'all don't give no credit to the Heavenly Father. You know, because hey, the Lord said He was gonna set up the basic of men over us. You didn't set yourself up. You know, hey man, you got set up by the Lord, man. Like I was watching the last week, the video on the live downtown, and you were saying that, hey man, you was kind of astonished, like as these devils winning.
Oh, when I was a kid, I always thought that when I was a kid.
And we winning all the basketball, doing all this, doing
Track,
all this.
Football, boxing, wrestling, whatever it was, Jake was dominating.
Yeah. So
You know?
that's how you know it was the Lord that took us down because we was going off. That's
Yeah.
what it is.
Well, when you went outside to play football, when nobody's screaming out, white guy name. Oh, everybody wanted to be Peyton or Dorsett.
Right, Con.
Tony. It says
Right.
right, and the same thing when it came.
Where you go?
The same thing when it came to basketball, man.
That's right.
I got one back up real quick, Tom. This Deuteronomy 32 and 30. How shall one chase 1,000 and two put 10,000 to flight, except their rock has sold them, and the Lord has shut them up? For their rock is not as our rock, even our enemies themselves being judges. To let you know, it said, how can a one chase 1,000 as the Lord sold us, man? The Lord, it said, hey, they rocking like our God. He made even our enemies to be over us, man. The Lord gave us over to their hands, man.
Right.
All right.
And they God is basically their sword. It's like it. Modern day sword is a gun, and the sword always runs out of bullets. So they got right. You gonna run out of bullets.
Sooner or later.
All right.
Yeah, no, you need to I'll say what you heard.
Well, she was going to the map thing. It's an old clip of
Oh, yeah.
Oprah Winfrey.
Jane Elliott.
And she cut. I mean, she cut to Jake because she cuts white man down all the time.
True. I blame you anyway.
Yeah, but she don't give Esau no break.
And she
stayed on the edge.
That's my little bitch.
She do a lot of sessions about racism. What I seen about her,
Yeah,
Jane Elliott.
she's got a passion to constantly bring out critical race history. Notice I didn't say theory, but she's constantly bringing out critical race history and its effect on us today, which is something that so-called white people like to ignore. They don't want to acknowledge it.
She shames them all
And
the
then
time.
that means they have to acknowledge that they received stolen
Preferred
goods
children.
and stolen land
That's
and
it.
property and
Stolen
et
heritage.
cetera. Yeah, all that. See, they don't want to acknowledge any of that. So go ahead, you can play that clip of the show.
Stop. Turn it down.
What's the disclaimer?
First seen a map
Hold on, let
that
me
looked
read.
like this before.
Read the disclaimer.
Yeah, let me go. I kept it for that purpose. Let me read it before you play it. Here we go. Yeah, copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for the purpose of such as criticism, comment, news, reporting, scholarship, and research. Fair use is permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips balanced in the favor of fair use.
And I got 6 of them up there. You can see that this is all what this is for. So fuck you. All right. Go back to you now.
Seen a map that looked like this before. How many of you have ever seen this map?
Seen that map?
Isn't this the map that you use K through 16 in the United
small
States of America?
Africans.
Now, folks, look at this map. According to your social studies teacher, what is the equator? An imaginary line where?
Yeah.
Around the center of the earth. Then, if this map is correct, then the equator must be here, and Chicago has a tropical climate. And folks, this is the map that we use in the schools. Look where the United States is, in the middle of the world, right? Now, here's the USSR, which is no more, of course, Mongolia, China, Africa, India, Pakistan, Afghanistan. Now look over here. USSR, Mongolia, China, India, Pakistan, Afghanistan. 2 Indias here. We have 2 Indias. Did you know that? People, this is a flat-out lie. Look at the size of Greenland and the size of South America. According to your social studies teachers, what were continents? Largest land masses on the face of the earth, right? Now, do you know the continents? Africa, Asia, Australia, Antarctica, Europe, North America, and South America. Did I say Greenland? Well, Greenland isn't a continent, but it's a huge landmass according to this map, right? The map is a flat-out lie, people. If you read the legend on the map, here it says, in fact, South America is actually 9 times larger than Greenland. Now, look at this map. The equator on this map is down here. All the white countries are larger than they should be, and all the countries of people of color are smaller than they should be. This is a visual image that teaches children a lot. In order to make this map anywhere near accurate, they have to take this over here and put it here like this. Now, well, can somebody hold that? Can you hold that down there, somebody? Are you somebody?
Sally is the son.
Okay, Sally's a somebody. There. Now, take a look at the difference. Does that give you a different visual image of the importance of the United States? People, the way you use things like this, teaching aids like this, are what make you and I racist. We were taught that this is the way the world looks. It's a flat-out lie. How could a parent not be a racist? How could a white parent not be a racist in a city?
All artists in need of beats.
I mean, that nigga had the plug.
Yeah, of course he would. I mean, but you know,
Ain't had shit to do with nothing.
see, but she's right, because when you disproportion the lands, this shows you first of all that what Esau is doing is psychological and is intentful to promote their ideology.
They large.
It's
They large
hateful
in the
racist
charge.
by their own definition.
Absolutely. You see how small Europe is? If you go over to Europe, I've been to Scotland, I've been to London, I've been to Belgium and Amsterdam, Holland. You can go, they have underground rail lines that only takes a couple hours to get from London to Holland. If that was so big as they say, it would take you
days.
a day or so.
Days.
All right. If you look at this map, then it makes sense how quickly they can build those underground rail lines. When they say underground, it's really literally under sea. It goes from this is Scotland, Europe, and Ireland right over here. All right. They will go all the way over here. That's right here. They'll go all the way over here in a matter of hours.
Yeah, that's how the Europeans be dating and stuff. They
Yeah.
have a girlfriend in a whole other country.
Come
They
on.
just jump on the train and go spend a weekend with them.
And it's cool. And I mean, it's so fast. I've traveled to multiple places over there like it was nothing.
As a matter, and then not only that, they had those super trains, you know,
Yeah, that's what I'm talking
those
about.
bullet trains, which they don't have here in America. And you know why they don't have them? They don't have them because because all the oil mongers basically prevented America from having those bullet trains because they wanted to drive
cars.
right. They wanted to sell all their cars and go and all that. Because if you had trains that went 200 miles per hour, man, you know how fast you can get from Chicago to New York, from Chicago to LA, and going 200 miles per hour.
See, America's a cash cow. America's a cash cow of these European nations because you got to remember the mother of America was Britain. All right, so they're like, no, we're gonna go ahead and teach them. Everybody, in fact, you got China owns land in America. You got all these different foreign countries that own land in America.
Yeah, most of the parks, most of your public parks are now owned by China and other people. Most people don't know that. All right, because America was giving up, you know. Hey, the rules in America sold to people a long time ago. And still dumbass Americans ain't rioted, and, you know, because that shit that happened at the White House, you know, on January 6th, that was some bullshit. All right, that was completely staged. But you know, if you think that America, with all the shit that the government has done and is still doing to the people in America, they dumb them down and docile them down with all these chemicals.
No doubt.
So people, and especially with Americans being as heavily armed as they are, they could have already took over. You know, that's not prophecy for that to happen, but they could have already, you know, have a whole new government by now, and actually be following their constitution. But you know, Americans are really, they're collectively they're very stupid. As a matter of fact, I find that the more degrees in education they have, the dumber that they are.
That's
All
right.
right, because they may be book smart, but it's common sense ain't common.
Absolutely. This is
And then even their book smart is bullshit because most of the knowledge that they learn is all based upon lies.
This is England to Netherlands by subway and train. The journey time between England and Netherlands is around 5 hours and 14 minutes and covers a distance of about 583 kilometers. That proves, if you actually want to
That's like driving from here to Detroit.
That's right.
So then how can the landmass be bigger than something that's the size of Africa? You have to go to the end of the. See, Esau is so stupid, he'll tell you the truth, but then he'll put in the lie. If you follow the truth, you must go back to that map.
And then is that train, rail trains all over Greenland? Because Greenland was just as big as America. On that map.
Right.
You know? But on that, when you go back to that map, look how small Greenland is.
Yes. And how much they had to
It's it was gigantic.
ginormous. Right? So if this from here to all the way over here is only 583 kilometers, then you go into these different places in Africa. You go, if you Google the size of the Congo and by meters, and then Sudan by meters, and Ghana by meters. If you do that, you'll get the accurate, because they'll tell you.
Yeah.
But nobody's sitting there doing it, actually going to scale and trying to do what they did unless you did what they did. The majority of people don't say whatever the man in school said, the woman in school said. They don't believe it, hook, line, and sinker, because they'll tell us to vet everything that we say, but they don't vet what they say, and we
Matter of
believe
fact,
it.
they'll say that this is a conspiracy. They just declared war. The UN just declared war on conspiracies worldwide.
That's right.
All right, so basically, what that really means is that stop telling the truth on us.
That's right.
Stop exposing.
Stop tricking
That
them.
boy got to pay what, 49 million or 40 something million? Yeah, Alex Jones.
Because it's the whole Sandy Hook shit.
Yes, sir.
Like a
Yeah, I was speaking on Esau. Speaking lies. Psalms 58:3 says, "The wicked are estranged from the womb; they go astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies."
That's it.
Do we have to pull up the thing with the little curl? And she said, Sally, who ate the chocolate? Something a black man.
That's a black man, dude.
And that's who, right? And that's who the Most High right now. The Most High got them in rulerships right now. That's why the scriptures tells the prophets, the men of the Lord, to rid my people from the hand of the wicked.
That's right.
Because our people in their minds are in the grasp of the wicked, and they're lying. They're telling you that life is done away with. When they say that the laws, statutes, and commandments of the Most High God and what the Most High God called righteous, when they say that that's done away with, all right, basically they're saying life is done away with, and you roll right with it.
That's right. This is Matthew 24:4. And Yahushua answered and said to them, "Take heed that no man deceive you. But many should come in my name saying, I am Mashiach, and should receive many. And that's what you're saying. That's what they're feeding, man. They paint that image up and deceive many. And deceiving people, man.
Right.
That's why we not supposed to let these people deceive us. But our people got caught up into this lifestyle, which is a wicked style. It's really not a lifestyle, it's a death style. And now these people are really corrupted out here, man. They really believe that this man is the Most High. They think the image of all of it.
Well, because again, the Most High put them in power, and what they don't see is the Most High, but they do see Esau in power. So now that he
No
in,
fake.
huh?
That's no fake.
Well, see,
You gotta see it. That's what I'm saying.
Exactly.
You can't see fake. You just laying back.
Yep. And then as the scripture says, thy people shall be willing in the day of thy power, when they see you in power.
Too
So,
late.
exactly. So here it is. Who they see, they like the saying goes, thinking gain is next to godliness. You know what I'm saying? When they don't understand, that's why it says a brutish man. One that's carnal, one that's like just like you go off your animal instincts, you brutish. So the scripture says a brutish man don't understand, neither does the fool understand that when the wicked spring as the grass and all of the workers of iniquity do flourish, it is that they shall be destroyed forever. Because right now, wickedness gets its time to flourish.
God.
And then they telling you that true righteousness is crazy. It's hate.
God, can I give you an example?
Yes.
Let me give you an example of some of the recent that's happened. Two things. One was the Republican Party. I think it was a bill. I think it was a Bill 31, something Agenda 31, whatever it was called, where all of the Republican, basically what happened was that this bill was to eliminate racism throughout all police departments. They have two organizations that do a joint investigation, and all officers that were found that would have to deal with anything sort of racial profiling or racial incidents, anything that was overturned was going to be removed from all police departments. And the entire Republican Party voted it out. They went against it. So they go to show you that they want their racist white police officers. They didn't want to get rid of them. Second was this. Charlottesville's first black woman police chief fired. His officers refused to comply. So the officers, basically, long story short, they put this black woman, so-called black woman. That's ridiculous. She gets for believing and trusting in her enemy. So they put her in charge, and then everything became so bad with her in charge that they just fired her and got rid of her. So it all failed.
Right.
All right. Her pipe dreams of being a police chief. Because why? Because all the racist white males refuse to comply. So Esau is showing you, all right, hey, look, because a nigga woman can't be nothing to a white man but a bed wench.
That's right.
If he married you, you're still his bed wench. You're nothing more to him.
It's funny you say that because there was a little bit here a year or two ago where they were talking about they was going to try to put so-called Harriet Tubman on a $20 bill. And that shit never materialized.
Yeah, you're right, Bob. Yeah.
They were like, nah, man, we can't even have this bitch on our money.
No, you go back to trading places. Are you really gonna let that nigger run that company?
Yeah.
No.
Matter of fact, can I read this real quick? It says, after the midsummer in June 2021, newly hired police chief Rachel Brackley felt the need to double down on her personal safety, unholstering her gun. She left her headquarters. Brackley's fear, however, was not prompted by activity on the streets or even the ongoing public threats made against the police. Somebody can never trust in that and that whole go down to Egypt. And against the police departments over the years. Instead, she found herself afraid of her own subordinates. Cops who wanted her gone after making some controversial yet necessary shakeups throughout the force. It was necessary?
Damn right.
All right. The same year, an internal probe was being conducted of a 15-member SWAT team, according to the report obtained by Washington Post. There were more than just a few issues that required addressing. There was evidence of several officers making racist remarks. One text in particular read that they should take out the command staff. Damn. And Brackley found this concerning, Most others of the staff blew the comment off. They reportedly additionally found an officer training a new hire on how to hide misconduct. So they were doing all this shit behind her back, and this woman was nervous of her own subordinates. And every time she unhosted it, took that's crazy, man.
Brother Seek understands it. Elders, I'm confused. Can the chief of police fire a police officer so she didn't do her job? Brother, when you talking about Esau and his system, ain't shit right in his system. How things supposed to be ain't how it's supposed to be.
Man, that's right, man. Because you can do everything right and beat them in court, and they'll still just, if you beat them and expose them, then they'll just be like, oh well, you got us with the devil.
And then if you
But
talk
still
about,
not gonna let you win.
and if you talk about her, and then you got, say if she's a police officer, the chief over 500 police officers, and 400 of them are Edomites, and they all got guns and they all got babies, man. She was like, man, these supposed to come to my house.
And
You don't know what
and then they're threatening her.
Yes,
Actually,
right.
they're making remarks and threatening her.
Subtle remarks, sometimes on the nose remarks, doing certain things, and then she's a woman, bro. She's a woman. She shouldn't even be in that position.
It's like in the military, that you was in tools. I think we talked
Speak
about,
up,
remember I heard stories about Vietnam.
Yeah.
Somebody
Call it frag, bro.
they would frag you. They would kill you in the field and blame it on enemy fire.
Yeah, because you go out on maneuvers, and basically people that they want to get rid of, just they don't come back. They get fragged.
Yeah.
So if you want a problem, if you weren't going along with the program, you got fragged by your own people.
Even in sports, if the coach don't win over the team and respected by the team, then they'll fire that coach.
That's it. Because see, the chief of police is not really the chief of the police. Guess who's really the chief of the police? The mayor. Absolutely. Because the mayor runs the department. Who's the chief of the armed forces? The so-called president. So if the people come to the mayor and say, look, man, if you want all 400 of us to come back out on these streets,
You gotta
you
get
need to
rid
get
of
rid of this bitch right here, or we gonna get rid of this bitch.
Right.
And then the mayor will be like, you know what, chief officer,
Oh, we're not gonna vote for you, but you walk the bed.
You're fired.
When you call because there's some people on your street, your protection they're gonna be held up at Dunkin' Donuts.
Right.
Exactly. And now if you go here in
Right.
Chicago, I used to go down, Indiana by 12th Avenue, 12th Street. There's a whole bunch of residential spots over there, right? I would do Lyft Uber every single day. I would see poles in front of this one spot. It was like, why are they always here? Comes out as a judge over there that lived over there, and they had protection. Like you said, go ahead and piss off the wrong people. That protection ain't there, and then guess what? Anybody can go over there and do what the fuck they want.
Right.
See, they know how to get around. Esau knows how to
Which
get around that
means
shit.
that judge has done some unseemly wrongdoings and wrong judgment.
Yeah.
All right.
That's it. And for him to hire protection,
Right.
Why you need
for the
protection?
city to provide it?
Exactly.
If you were a righteous judge, you wouldn't have to worry about stuff like that.
That's it. That's it.
Come. Yeah.
This Sirach 12 and 10. Never trust thy enemy, for like as iron rusted, so is his wickedness. Though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him. And thou shalt be unto him as if thou hast wiped a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust have not been altogether wiped away.
That's it. Right. And you never trust him. So when the time we came off from slave ship to now, did they treat us right? No. Why would we trust them now? You know why they trust them now? Because Jake is conquered. Jake got freedom, so-called freedom, which is not freedom, to go here and there and do their debauchery.
They got
They're
free doing.
freedom to do wickedness.
Right. Now, even going back further than that, first of all, colonial time, when they came off those ships, man, they unsheathed their swords, man. All right. So and really had to stop. Esau used his blessing.
Yeah. What are mothers telling they sons and whatnot out here? You got to get along. You need to get along, get a good job, get an education, get along and whatnot. You trying to get along in a wicked ass society. You trying to go along in a wicked ass
And the mother
society.
did worse than that, bro. I saw a clip off of some shit. An older woman. She had to be at least in her 40s or 50s,
and they was interviewing her in L.A. And they was asking what they doing about the violence in the neighborhood. And she said, well, I don't know about everybody else, but over here, we crip bam, bam, boom, bam. And if they don't know what to do, they just own their houses, 45, whatever.
No,
Okay.
say it right. It was a fucking black woman.
It was. It was.
And I ain't have to see it to know that.
And
Black
she
woman.
started doing all this little hand signs and shit and say, well, over here, we own this spot the ground. And that's the last thing that anybody would expect that a 40, 50-year-old
No, that-
so-called black woman to be promoted.
That's the first thing I expect.
But we would, but they wouldn't.
Dry pussy, bitch.
They show you one of the other call for is Isaiah 31:1. It says, woe to them that go down to Egypt for help and stay on horses and trust in chariots because they are many, and in the horsemen because they are very strong, but they look not unto the Holy One of Israel, neither seek the Lord. And that's our people, man. They want to go after the people that literally destroyed us, man. And show you how ass backwards our people are, man. They're destroyed.
Because they're in authority and power right now.
And our people's minds have been molded basically to be subjects and be cool with it.
Willie
What
Lynch.
they're saying, you will own nothing and be happy.
Yeah.
And they're maneuvering their way to that.
Right.
Schwab said that shit.
All these other nations, they have a ruling class mentality, and they have the mindset to rule. Here it is, our people, they don't have the mindset to rule.
They want to.
No, and then when you try to bring that to them, they don't.
We live in good
They actually have
balls.
a problem with it. But I won't say every last one of them, because you got takes out there that know we saw their enemy and ready to ride on.
Right.
But the mass majority, man, especially these Christians, you know, you've been bent over every way which and violated all, you know, with no Vaseline, no spit, nothing. No whisper, sweet nothing.
Damn.
And then they want to just, you know, let it go like it didn't happen. Like the condition that you're in isn't a condition that these people put you in.
And to land back with what the brother read, this is Ezekiel 16:26. Thou hast also committed fornication with the Egyptians, thy neighbors, great of flesh, and hast increased thy whoredoms to provoke me to anger. And so they great of flesh. Are you talking about everything that Mosai called America modern day Egypt? So when it says great of flesh, everything in every system, every avenue, everything that America promotes is everything that's great of flesh and is not the Most High. This is a place barren with faith compared to, except for the righteous men who are fighting this battle. It's 99% wickedness.
Hey, this brother got one real quick.
No, I just want to land back off what this brother said. Isaiah 30:12, it says, wherefore thus saith the Holy One of Israel, because he despised his word and trust in oppression and perverseness and stay thereon. Like the brother was saying, you know, I love oppression. Even before I learned this truth as a youth, I just always hated society because I knew it was bullshit. And sure it was bullshit when you were a kid. You know, you grew up trying to get a job and shit. It's like this sucker shit, you know? Because you see the job is bullshit, you work so hard for a little money. So how you get this, how you know what I'm saying? How you getting this?
You knew something was wrong.
Yeah, you know?
Yeah, my grandmother, I was a child. My grandmother had this talk to me. My grandmother stayed next door. You know, they didn't, yep. She said, look, you got 2 strikes on you as a black man. For one, that's 2 strikes. You black and you a black man. And she explained this shit. That's fucked up. That you gotta
So
tell
the child has to sit there and listen to that.
Yeah.
Like, damn, man, the game. You mean I got right? It's the game. You only get 3 strikes, and I already got 2. And I
just walked. I didn't even do nothing.
Right.
My mom told me the same thing. She told me in a different way. She said, Jay, and if you go to a school or go to a job or whatever, you cannot be as good as a so-called white man. You have to be better. You can't have A's, you have to have A pluses. And then you have 2. Right. She said you have to always go above and beyond just to survive. If you got an A and they got an A, they're gonna always choose you. You're gonna have to have an A plus. You're gonna have to go over and beyond all the people. That's for us.
That's crazy you said that because my son used to say that to me as a kid. He said, in society, you gotta work 5 times harder than anybody out there. You know what I'm saying? I didn't understand that until I got older. I'm like, God dang, like anything I do when it comes to these, you know, these white people, it's like, what the fuck, bro?
That shit kills you, man.
You're born. Yeah, it's like a video game.
And no matter what, though, you're going to talk almost every single industry, you're still going to get pennies. It doesn't matter. It doesn't fucking matter. I was listening to the actors, Kevin Hart to several actors. One dude on Power.
I just want to mention him.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he was like, man, he said, 50 gave you to Waka Waka Bam kind of money for this. And he said, man, I didn't start really making no money until the XYZ season or down the line. Kevin was saying the same. Kevin Hart was saying the same thing. He would say certain movies where we up there like, oh, Kevin Hart, oh my God. He said, but he was dead broke. He said he didn't make his money till down the line because Steve Harvey said it. He was like, man, when you first come into the Waka Bam, you go there, tell you go get you a lawyer. Your lawyer off rip getting 5-10% of what you get. He goes, which is Edomite lawyer, who goes and get the person who's going to get you the deal. They go get a 20-some%, and then after that, they go set you up with the other part of the company. They took another 30%. He said, man, next thing you know, out of 100% of your earnings, you only getting 25% of your shit.
Hey.
Esau sets it up for us to fail. You will not. The Most High is so cold. He tell you, bro, you cannot trust this motherfucker because he's going to bring you down.
Richard
You know,
Price.
and I'm going to read that scripture that Zach put up here. This is Jeremiah 17 and 17:7. It says, it says, blessed is a man that trusteth in Yahweh, and whose hope Yahweh is. So you can't really, you know, you got to take everything with a
Grain of salt.
with a grain of salt. I'm finishing that. That's what I was thinking. I couldn't get it out. But yeah, you got to take everything with a grain of salt, man, because it just be look your daily bread. You know, when the scripture says, "Give me not too much, give me not too little." You know, no poverty, no riches, right? Because you know, you get too much, you get too comfortable, you gonna start laxing from the work. That's it, right? But then you know, straight poverty makes it difficult to do the work as well. Too many trying to survive.
I was gonna say it all goes back to the purpose. Deuteronomy 28:65. And among these nations you shall find no ease, neither shall the sole of thy foot have rest. But power shall give thee a trembling heart, the feeling of eyes and sorrow of mind. So we got all that. Hey man, you put the money in the bag of holes. You tell yourself, I'm gonna save this much money, and Lord's will, this much shit come up, man. You know what I'm saying? Man, motherfuckers get acting up with the job, man. You got the nigga woman. I got nothing but black women superiors, man. They're not working for project. It's all fucked up, man.
Yeah, right. And then you got this lying deceiver that's ruling over you. That never seems to get in trouble. Right? You know?
Yeah, so I said, so brother said all this. You gotta be out of your fucking mind to want this place to continue and stay here. You want the Lord to come back and destroy this fucking place.
And my grandma told me when I was a kid that the white lady.
So
Shit, I was a little boy. She told me that. He died when I was 8. So I always knew they was the devil, man. They the fucking devil, man.
I told you a righteous statement.
Haggai 1:6. It says, "You have sown much and bring in little. You eat, but ye have not enough. You drink, but ye are not filled with drink. Ye clothe you, but there is none warm. And he that earn the wages to put it into a bag of holes." So you do feel like you fucking broke every time you get your paycheck. Hey man, God damn, I gotta pay this bill. I gotta get my kids some shit. This shit expensive. I gotta buy clothes and shoes. What I got left for myself? You hardly got anything.
But that Esau make fun of you, lazy, this, that. The whole fucking system is set up for us to fail. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Yeah,
A lot of you must start to understand that too. They'll come and talk to you, trying to humble them. I understand. Like yesterday, yeah. They don't understand.
Hey,
You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah.
Esau made fun of that shit in the 80s, man. A song by Bruce Swansea. That's just the way it is.
Yeah.
Somebody doing something shit. When you get to our Watson, that song was bad. Hey, it's like ain't that a bitch? Somebody doing something slick.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But it's a good song. Be talking about oppression.
Yeah, that was the song that came out. I actually kind of like it.
Yeah, I do too.
It's kind of there's this song that came out. It's kind of it's like I think it's an early 2000 song. It's kind of bluesy. And it's then you might know what it's like, and it's just getting then it's just showing you all this fucked up shit.
Yeah, everlasting.
That's a badass song, man.
What it's
That's-
like, yeah.
Right.
But you know, it's just basically showing you the deterioration of America.
Yeah,
Man.
this is an American video too. That was bad.
Well, like you said, the bag with holes, the money bag with holes in it and whatnot. Richard Pryor was a writer before he was anything else. And him and Paul Mooney and whatnot, they got the story, and it's out there where they went to negotiate contracts and this, that, and the other. And Paul Mooney told, "Oh, that's about the money." Oh, they writing for some of the top-rated shows at that time. Sanford and Son and this, that, and other. These were top-rated shows.
I see you hear a lot of rappers that come out and say how much money they had lost because they were getting used, like TLC and all them niggas.
Hey, look, man, TLC sold more records than Diana Ross and the Supremes. They are literally the most popular female group, even more popular than Destiny's Child and In Vogue.
They got that to show.
They're the most popular female group, and I don't know why, because they're really out there talented. In Vogue and Destiny's Child was way more talented than they could ever. What was them girls called? Sisters with Voices, SWV. But nevertheless, they were the most popular female band, and they were completely and totally broke. Because why? Because the system is broke. Because why? You believe in a man that's a habitual liar, deceiver, man. You can play that video. Right?
Shemai.
Hold this scripture.
Audio. I was just double checking. Oh, you know what? That's it.
Top 7 kids.
Talking about it. And just for fun, comment below what your favourite colour is. And if you like this video, then please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to Listed for more weekly list of videos. So let's begin. The top 7 kids caught lying to their parents. The first video of the top 7 kids that lie to their parents, we have a little boy of around 4 years old. His face is covered in a thick, bright blue layer of icing. But this little boy remains adamant that he has not eaten the cupcake. Comment below what you guys think.
Hey, Jack. Did you eat a cupcake?
No.
You didn't eat a cupcake?
No, I'm not home.
You sure you didn't eat a cupcake?
No.
I thought you maybe had a cupcake.
No.
No?
No.
Definitely not?
No.
Not like in the last couple minutes?
No.
No cupcake for Jack?
No.
Oh, okay.
We have this next kid trained to be a lawyer, and yet again he has the evidence all around his mouth, but he's still telling his mum that he did not eat the chocolate brownie. Chose to pair this time, and I love the way the little girl hides under the table, and you can see on her face that she's nearly going to confess to eating the food, but she stays strong and never tells.
And did you go in the room with it, or he just ate it right there? He just ate it right there. But you didn't eat one? You sure? Okay.
This clip is from a little girl trying on her mum's lipstick. She literally has about a 2-inch thick band around her mouth. But give her credit, she tries to convince the mum that it's not lipstick. Somehow, I don't think the mum is falling for it. Watch this one.
What happened when we make makeup? What do you have all over your face? Chapstick. Oh, that's not chapstick. That's chapstick?
Mm-mm.
That's mommy's lipstick.
Oh, lipstick? I like lipstick.
Where did you get it?
From mommy's makeup.
And did mommy tell you not to play in the makeup?
Mm-hmm.
So why did you go play in the makeup again?
I didn't want to go again. I don't touch your mommy's makeup.
Oh, but I think you did touch my makeup because it's all over your mouth.
The next kid is sure that he did not eat anything at all, but once again he has a full face of chocolate. Either he's trying to lie, or he has the shortest memory of anyone in the world, and his parents should get him checked out. Watch this one.
What do you eat?
Yoshi.
Nothing at all?
Yoshi.
You sure?
Yes, baby.
Oh.
Oh, okay. It looks like I had done it to me.
I did.
I think so.
You know, it don't like it.
Next up, we have a little girl. Not only is she lying about eating chocolate, but she's also trying to get her little brother told.
Go ahead and bring it out, brother.
This is Psalms 58.
It came out before. We're going to read
The
it again.
wicked are estranged from the womb. They are go astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies.
One more time, brother.
The Psalms 58:3. The wicked are estranged from the womb. They go astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies.
So their rulerships from the time that the Renaissance, when they began to whitewash history, when they began to destroy icons, right? When the devil, when that serpent, that old dragon, got dominion again and got loose for that little season, he did so much. Look at the condition of the earth since he got loose. All right, since he came from belly, right, from the cave. Somebody get Job 30th chapter. Yeah, where since he came from that state when on his belly he should go. All right, when he came from being on his belly when he was a damn caveman, when he was quest for fire, which I never even made the connection. That was young Ron Pearl. One of the main characters in Quest for Fire.
He was a wildling.
He was one of the wildlings. But see, they want to make that history one. 10,000, 100,000 years ago.
Yeah.
No, that was during the Dark Ages. When white people, so-called white people, were living like that. All right?
Job 30.
Start at the top, brother.
Start at the top. This is Job. This is the book of Job 30:1. But now they that are younger than I have me in derision, whose fathers I would have disdained to have set with the dogs of my flocks.
And for the record, that word younger doesn't mean younger as you think. It's actually it's insignificant, smaller. If you go into the etymology, that's why it's really important to go into the etymology behind some of these words.
Verse 2, yeah, whereto might the strength of their hands profit me, in whom old age was perished. For want and famine they were solitary, fleeing into the wilderness in former time, desolately waste, who cut up mallows by the bushes and juniper roots for their meat.
And see, that was the Dark Ages. That was after the fall of Rome when Septimius Severus was ruling, and they all called Septimius. They admit that he was black, but they'll call him an African. Right? No, Septimius Severus was an Israelite. And those were it. So it was no African rulers of Rome or Roman emperors. They were Israelites. They went from the pagan Roman Empire to the Holy Roman Empire. And that's when Constantine came along with his wicked ass and all that stuff a couple hundred years after that. All right. But during the rule of Septimius Severus, because he defeated Persinius Niger, or some people would say Niger. But he defeated him because they were both battling to be the rulers. All right, go ahead, brother.
Job 30:5, they were driven forth from among men that cried after them as after a thief.
So that's when the so-called white man got driven into what the world calls the Caucasus Mountains. It's listed right here in the Bible. It's prophesied.
That's why I say he that goeth up the clefts of the rocks.
Done. That's right.
They refer to today as Caucasians.
Man, on that, I think it's in Job 30. I think it's in that same chapter. No, it's later on when he said, I am a brother to dragons. That lets you know that goes back to that great serpent of old.
That's 30:27.
That dragon.
30:29. That's 30:29.
So that's in the same. That lets you know it's talking about that white man. So the self-proclaimed white man.
And he loves his
driven into them caves, man, because he said, I'm a brother to the dragon.
Yeah, he's
that
that
was talking
dragon.
about the devil.
The old serpent, as it says in Revelation 12, also called the devil.
If I may, it's right here on the screen. This is ancient Petra right here. They love going crawling shit in the rocks and living in the fucking rocks. And then they were driven out and brought over to the Caucasus Mountains. They were in the Caucasus Mountains. And then when they came into power, now they built their own artificial mountain rocks with these skyscrapers that are built with cement and iron and all the shit that's in the fucking rock, so they can live high and have a high habitation over the people.
Even a lot of them, they walk on they have some concrete countertops I was watching a video on you're on the different channels where they show you rich people's houses. A lot of them get concrete in their houses on the floors because they have the floors heated. And they like it because it feels natural.
In the high rise.
They fucking pay you.
Yes, in
What
the
the
high
fuck
rise.
you got money instead of what you want to
Yeah, a lot of them, the floors are heated. They got heated
Yeah, they got heated concrete floors.
But they got
Because
Jake by the
when
way.
I was a kid, my best friend lived in a high rise. And he used to come in from playing in the summer, go and stand on the hot spots. Our feet would be frozen.
Hey, if you want to know, the heated floors come from Jake. Back in the Middle Ages, in the castles, they actually found castles, and the castles actually had water piped through under the wooden floors, and they had hot water piped through there to have wooden floors, the heated wooden floor. That was Jake invented. Jake invented.
Right in the castle.
Yeah, Jake, and you don't see like the elder brother, or the couple brothers, but the Kowal and Shakti did that one video about women over there in Europe.
That video was hot.
Oh, it's flaming, brother. Not one of the castles that were built in the European time reflects anything
They don't
to go
look
back to
anything like
Petra,
this.
to America, to Europe, and all the columns and the triangles and all the other shit, and this generic ass shit. Ours is amazing.
It was unhewn stones. And see, what you have to understand, when the people is no longer ruling, they were a building that's no longer built. So the thing is, you have to ask yourself, why aren't why wasn't America and all the places where the Edomites dwell built the same way as all those castles in Ireland, Scotland, and those different places? You see what you see on the screen.
Castle of the Moors.
Yeah, what you see on the screen, what you saw on the screen, that's what you see here in America. All right?
That's right.
Go ahead, brother.
This is Job 35. It says, they were driven forth from among men. They cried after them as after a thief, to dwell in the cliffs of the valleys, the caves of the earth, and in the rocks.
Now I have images. Now these right here, this was the way the jig goes. Unhewn stones. Nothing was perfectly cut symmetrically. All right, and they built that way. As a matter of fact, there's a whole book. I have some images. Let me pull up the name.
If I can quick the scripture to back that up.
It's called Galactic Gorilla Land Congo, and in these images, they look just like what I'm looking at when you look at them in my phone. And those, and those are they're building boats. These were castles that were actually in Africa, so they're built the same way that they're built in West Africa. All those three markets right there, those are the all different castles that Jake was living in. You all right? So, and they're built just like these. Okay, right here, brother. You want to see us? Look.
Fort Judah was a castle, brother.
These castles are in Africa. They were built by black people, but they never show you these. So you see, all those little markers are showing you where they are. This is all throughout Psalm 1 right? And then they even, this book is hot. I want to get my hands on it. Because when you're looking at it, that Jake was just royal. And there's even an image here, where you got all these white people that are bowing down. Look at Jake sitting up on that tall ass throne. And you got all these popes and these white people. See? So they don't show you this history, man.
Can I back you up?
Go ahead, bro.
This is Deuteronomy 27:5. And there shalt thou build an altar unto the Lord of thy power, an altar of stones thou shalt not lift up any iron tool upon them. It was in our nature. We will build and we'll just take one stone, put the mortar, and make it fit.
And then we shape it and make it all perfect, but it wasn't all hewn perfectly the way he saw it.
And a jillion castles over in Scotland, which I've seen with my own eyes.
And the way they still stand,
yes,
and it still withstand the weight, and the people is the evidence to how structurally sound that they are.
And the mental understanding on how to engineer shit. How did you engineer? There's some shit that's made on top of a rock, on sides of rock, where it's like, how did you engineer this big castle and so forth?
Where the mortar holds up and everything else.
They still can't figure out the pyramids on how they got those those granite benches and all this stuff up in the heights that they have. They can, but they're not going to divulge it because they don't. But they still can't reproduce it. They can't use this motherfucking gravel ass roads and these concrete ass motherfucking highways that fucking break down every 4, 5, 6, 7 years. And spend thousands of
Year to
What's crazy is it's just like with the FDA. I was in a car with when I used to live. She said, "Oh, we got cures for a lot of things, but the FDA just won't approve." All right, it's just like with the roads and stuff. A lot of companies, you go YouTube, you see a lot of things that companies is creating, like breakable concrete. They got stuff that the concrete is actually soft. But Esau won't let that shit come out.
Because they can't make no money.
Cobblestone is still over there in Europe just fine.
Yes, but matter of fact, cobblestone is on every motherfucking road over here in Chicago.
Yeah, they covered over that. That's concrete.
And certain roads you still got.
roads because when they start over there, over there
got cobblestone.
Yeah, over there where I am, where all the little factories are on Taurus and all this stuff. When we go into the east side, when the roads crack, you can see the cobblestone beneath it.
And that's how it's fine. Yeah, it's still fine. That lasted way longer than Esau's bullshit. I threw some more castles up there just.
All right, I got a precept to go with that. Job, this is Revelation 20, and verse I'm gonna start at 1. I saw an angel come down from heaven, having the key of the bottomless pit, and a great chain in his hand. And he laid hold on the dragon, that old serpent, which is the devil and Satan, and bound him 1,000 years, which is the dark ages.
This is that time.
That's right. It goes into it, man. Job, he was chased away, and when he goes, for Caucasus Mountains, and cast him into the bottomless pit, and shut him up with Europe, and set a seal upon him, that he should deceive the nations no more, till the 1,000 years should be fulfilled. After that, he must be loosed a little season. And that was his mission. He came out for what? To deceive the nations. Job 9:24. 2 Thessalonians, the 2nd chapter. Whose working is coming after Satan with all signs and lying wonders. All right? So that's his job, man. He is the devil. His job is to deceive you. And the world has been deceived.
Yeah. Yeah, well, you know, castles with defensive part, long bridges and moats. You know,
This was surrounded by water.
That was it. And then Jake would even bring in exotic animals and put it into the water to help protect it. So you see the cartoons where they got alligators and crocodiles in the moat. That was real, man. Cool, because they didn't want you to through the night assassins to swim across the water and try to scale the wall. Right?
They go right here. That's a perfect example right there.
You know.
And then they would put oils and stuff, and if they did come to the wall, they'll light it on fire and say, "Well, cross now, baby."
But they're not even indigenous to that part. Yeah, import them type.
That's it.
Exactly.
This is John 8:44. It says, "Ye your father." I'm gonna start at 43. Why do ye not understand my speech? Even because ye cannot hear my word. Ye are your father the devil, and the lust of your father ye will do. He was a murderer from the beginning, which is going to Cain. All right, and then Cain came back as Esau. He said, "And abode not in the truth, because there was no truth in him. When he speaketh a lie, he speaketh of his own, for he is a liar and the father of it."
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? So Esau, man, he the biggest liar, man. So of course, you know, he tell you that he built the castles and he did all of this modern.
He'll tell you he's a European.
Well,
not.
Sirach tells you rich not coming for a Yigard, you know, and then it says, you know, the righteous going to spend his goods riotously. Because even in this world, they don't spend money. Like Jake get $10 million, they go buy a fucking $8 million house. Can't even afford the damn property tax. That's Jake shit. They gonna build it up. Right, $13,000 to speak 2 languages. That's what niggas do, man. It's just in our spirit, man. You don't ain't making no raw ass shit like this. Look what they ain't doing with their kingdom right now, man.
Exactly, man. Steve Harvey said it the other day.
They live in condos. You get millions. You living next to a bunch of other motherfuckers. Niggas didn't want you to swim across they shit.
Exactly.
Look at the fuck out of here.
Investment. That shit.
Yeah, the nigga young gun said I'm in the backyard
Now
for the
they have
kill.
houses on acres. They don't
Yeah.
probably in, you know.
I think it was Steve Harvey, one of these motherfucking people out there, one of these Jake insiders. They were saying how Esau, and I've heard many comedians speak on it. How you got Bill Gates, what he what a pair of New Balances that cost $25, was a pair of fucking jeans that cost $10, and a motherfucking button-down white shirt that cost $10. His spend cost $30, and then we got Jake spending their whole check. Make sure you got Louis Vuitton and all this other bullshit, man.
That's the right spirit to be in, Jake.
Because we want the best.
King Solomon said
He had the first horse. We never heard the song back. He brought Egyptian horses and Arabian horses.
King Solomon said, man, look, I get all my wealth and then leave it to somebody else. Basically, fuck it up.
Right.
So, you know what I'm saying? He's like,
It's all vanity.
It's all vanity. He said, I'm going to spend this shit. Hey, what's the point? The king, what's the point of having all this gold and shit you don't fucking spend? You know, Esau had all these millions and then come fucking go to fucking Walmart and still can't put a fucking outfit.
That shit going off.
You know what I'm saying? It's just fucking madness. It's just fucking madness.
I bet you the king of this castle ain't been to all his castles.
Carry the castle.
Hey, look at 50 Cent. He talked about.
He said about his house. He say, man, you look and see, you don't even want to go to the other side of the damn building.
Yeah,
Too far.
too far.
And it was a joke. The white dude laughed. Like, nigga, you weak ass nigga.
Why you have such a big house? You know what I'm saying? Like, what the fuck you mean? Why not?
That little white said the 10 bathrooms.
I would do that shit all day.
Because we kingdom minded even though they don't even know that they're kings of the earth. That's why they kill each other all the goddamn time. They kill each other so much because they have the king off with their head. Yo, you came around against me, off your fucking head. Just like that. That's a king mentality, man.
God, anything else? All right. Nobody got nothing else.
Sound like that?
Oh.
Uh-oh.
All right.
Well, then with that, we're going to give all praises, all honor, and glory
To Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rekakadash, Abba.
Why you got 10 cocker rocks? That is some real shit, nigga. 10 cocker rocks and 2 guns.
Why not?